Hello, hello, ladies of the Evolutionary Women community. It's Catherine and Andrea here. And if you are busy, stressed, highly scheduled, this is the conversation for you. Andrea and I have been talking to loads of you, and what we're hearing is that your diaries are packed. Like there isn't a single, you have no space for yourself. People are coming at you from all angles, wanting stuff from you, whether that's bosses, colleagues, business partners, children, partners, parents. Um, and what we're offering you the opportunity is to actually look what is important to you in your life. It's your life, your precious life. You get one of them. Is how life is occurring to you right now what you consciously want to create for yourself, or is it something a previous version of yourself unconsciously created, and now that you're in it you can't actually step back and look for yourself? So Andrea, that's what I'm hearing from women. Like, what are you hearing from the women that you've been speaking to recently?
Oh, I think you nailed it. And as you were talking, and hello everyone, there's been a school year starting. I mean, it has started. I completely forgot about that. What a stress it means for thousands of mothers and fathers when their kids really start the school day. But for everyone, because like, the whole routine of the year is coming back. And I'm not mother myself, but I have like friends who have kids, and I love them as my own. And I see, like, I admire that what these families need to cope with. And then these are people who need to also adjust their schedules. And hand in hand with that, I meet women who are not mothers, but who are very packed at their work because everyone from their management probably got back, right? Or all the duties are suddenly appearing because it's September, it's 2 months until the Thanksgiving, or 2 months until November starts, and it might be stressing. So I hear that anything else adding to your agenda, adding to your life might be a stress. And I get it.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Yeah.
can get it because I admire women I meet who are mothers, who take care of their households, or who need to do all these things at their work and probably even take long travels now, right? And take long flights because we are back after COVID with all the meetings. But ladies, we spoke with Catherine that why not to think about all of this? We're gonna talk a little from a different angle, not from a
Yeah.
dingle, angle that it's just an agenda on your item.
Yeah. Yeah. So I remember before I had access to looking at designing my life consciously. So when my life just existed because of me creating it unconsciously, it really occurred to me like I always looked to the external world for validation, my esteem. That if I could just survive something that was coming at me from the external world, that like I would be good, I'd have it handled, I'd be successful, I would be happy even. And no matter what happened in the outside world, gosh, I remember as in a former HR director life. So first it was like just getting the next job, just getting the next promotion, or just surviving the financial crisis. I made 500 people redundant in 2008 in 14 different countries. I was like, if I can just get through this crisis, this financial crisis, if I can just get another job, if I can just get this, if the pandemic will just be over, if the kids will just come get back to school, if this, and this, that
Mm.
somehow I would arrive at a magical, oh, I've got it figured out. I can now be happy. And
Now is the time.
what, no matter what that external thing was, guess what? Happiness always eluded me. So that's the opportunity we have in this Redesign Your Best Life scholarship program, is to get the opportunity to look, to actually look at all the areas of your life. What has been created unconsciously? Like, what would you like to create consciously? And how do you create the structures, the rhythms, whether that's amongst team, family, financially, like how do you create these structures, these rhythms, so that you can really get into flow, so that the life, you stop seeing things from the external world as your benchmark for your own happiness, and you start to see your creations, what you're consciously creating in your life, actually come to life, that you're like, oh my God, it's here, right? So, Andrea, for you, that's recently moving to Alicante. Like that was something you created in your life. You actually stepped back and looked and went, gosh, where do I feel happy? I feel happiest when I'm by the seaside, when I'm surrounded by energetic people, when I'm surrounded by good food, when I'm in an environment that's relaxed. And you consciously created, well, hey, I can have that in Alicante. So now I'll create a plan for moving there.
And I
And you did.
created that, and I wanna say that I didn't create it by my own. It was actually an idea with one of my dear GFU sister, one of the co-founders of GFU. So this was a very strong power of the community, now over one specific person, but inside of GFU. She sat with me. She's our CEO of GFU as well. She was like, "Why don't you move there?" I never forget on that day. It was actually June this year. Don't get me wrong. And I was like, exactly. My soul is dying where I am, and it's a physical suffocation. And thanks God I didn't have my mental one, I call it, because projects and work I do like reflect my purpose here. It's a fundraising and exactly working and empowering women. But my physical being was kind of restraining. And I know it might sound now, okay, she can travel, she can go. Yeah, she has no kids, she has no problems, she can just go. And I understand it might be like that. Yet I also something I told myself. But it also takes some courage and support. And the support never comes from your inner self. It comes from the community. And this is also something that redesigning your life might mean that we give you and we kind of like among ourselves give this support in the times when it gets tough and when it
Yeah.
gets tough by like real decisions. And for someone is
Yeah.
exactly like how to cope with everyday life, a real decision. Like look, inflation is crazy for every one of us, bills come, so it's not easy. So yeah, for someone it's now moving somewhere, but for someone it might be, oh, how gosh, I will just go through this winter without, no extra bill for electricity. So we cannot handle this, but we can be at least a support and supportive mechanisms how these things can become
Yeah.
easier to digest, and you might create a different optique. This is what we also share with Catherine, like how this different mental space is also important. And it
Yeah.
doesn't come in all structures, right? It's more
No.
in the redesigning the
So
structures
so
we live.
ladies, like so if you're like, "Oh, it sounds good. I'd like to do it, but I'm still concerned about the time investment." The program meets for 2 hours a week from late October on Wednesdays, from late October to early December. So, 2 hours a week plus an hour for the play. So it's only 3 hours a week. Like if you think that there are 24 hours in a day, like with 3 hours a week to take this opportunity to actually look at to create your life consciously so that you can have the experience of life that you're not busy, you're happy and fulfilled. For me, I actually am more busy than I've ever been in my entire life, and I feel
Because
the
you are
least
scheduled.
busy.
No,
Yes.
Catherine, you are scheduled. Sorry for jumping to, but you now have a schedule. You don't need to feel busy.
Yeah. So I know what it feels like to feel completely out of control of your own life and the things happening around you. And I want to support you, Andrea and I both do, inside of this conversation, inside of this program. So if you've been like, if you're like on the fence,
Mm.
just click the link above, answer the one question. There's a couple personal details, but there's one question. How would redesigning your best life increase your impact in the world? Okay. You don't need to labor 3 to 4 sentences. We'll get the gist, but just take 5 minutes to this is your opportunity to start designing your life intentionally right here, right now. Start by making the application. You might win a full scholarship, you might win a partial scholarship. We can have a conversation about it. So, ladies, because you've already watched this far, we're going to sign off now. You've invested 10 minutes of your time. So take another 5 minutes to make your application on the link above. Andrea and I can't wait to support you on the journey. Thank you, Andrea, as always, for being a co-creator and collaborator
Thank
with
you.
me. And we'll see you all real soon. Bye.
Take care. Bye.